I think that I've had to just come to terms with, I'm shifting gears and I'm changing, and I have to accept maybe my followers are not liking that I am no longer hardcore bodybuilder, but I mean, I lift weights, I take care of myself.
She still has the guns, everyone. I mean, Jesus, that's just. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at that. She still got him. Okay, so yeah, everyone can stop.
But I just made some decisions that I didn't like where the division that I was in was going for my taste, for my body, for my livelihood, my well-being, knowing that I'm on the cusp of being 50. I just I don't I don't want to do this, and I have some other things that I want to chase down, and I think, back in March I was saying I wanted to start a podcast, and I do. I think some of it is I'm watching his followers leave me, and it is a little bit scary. But somebody um, that I tutor a few people, a few adults with writing, actually. So I don't just tutor students, but I tutor adults. And that person said, just if people stick with you, they stick with you, and if they don't, that's their problem. Like, do it, come out. You have a lot to say, and I when you stop competing, when it's been such a part of your life for decades, and you've gone at it from every avenue, and you have so much experience with it, and you're successful with it. I mean, I was successful. I didn't make it to I narrowly missed the Olympia, but I was still a success. Um, but you finish that, and then you just kind of are like, I don't know where to put, I don't know how to spend this energy. I don't know what to do. I don't know how I don't know how to stop worrying about how my body looks all the time. I don't know how to stop critiquing my body all the time. I don't know how to get away from some of the dysmorphic mentalities. I I don't know how to be okay with missing some workouts. I don't know how to take the energy that I put into bodybuilding and put it into other things like my writing in the same fashion. Like, there's no there's nothing that prepares you for that. And I think that sometimes you see some of us who've been at it for so long, and then a lot of times you just suddenly stop. Like, you think that you're just going to trail off, or you think, oh, that'll happen like when I'm in my 60s or 70s, and you don't foresee it. And then something, it's just, for me, it's just a switch. It's like somebody just flipped the light switch off to off. When you talk about competing to me, I'm like, thank goodness it's not me. And, and I never expected to have that happen. And it happened just like that. And I can't, that light switch will not turn on. And I think that you see that women who that has been the case. I think a lot of us are kind of floating out there, getting our feelers, like, okay, what do I do? And so we dabble in this and dabble in that. And I've been really hard on myself about, like, oh my gosh, like, what, you're being lazy and you're being ridiculous and stupid, and you should be more successful than this, and you should get this figured out, and not understanding, that switch went out about within the same month that Roxy had died. And it just it hit me several weeks ago that actually what I've been going through is I was grieving the loss of my dog. And I think I was grieving the loss of, even though it's my choice, but it is the loss of my bodybuilding career. That two things came to an end around the same time. And I never faced the fact that I was going through a dual grieving process. And so, of course, I understood I was grieving over Roxy, and I moved through that. But I didn't understand that I was grieving over an end to a bodybuilding career. And when you don't face the grieving process, and you don't face a loss, and you don't accept that you have to go through the stages, you never make it through the stages. And those stages end up just taking over like a weed in a garden. And that's kind of what happened back when my grandmother had passed away. I'm an only grandchild, and she was a second mother to me. And I was devastated, but that devastation didn't hit me fully until a year later when it was my birthday. And for the first time in my life, I didn't hear from her. And I went into a 3 month straight up, just deep depression. Like I didn't even want to get out of bed. And but before that point, I was just like, I had had a promotion, I was working hard, I did a show, all these things that I did in escaping it. And I think I think that when you step away from bodybuilding, when it's been such a force and you go far in it, it takes over your entire life. Bodybuilding is different. I had to explain this to somebody. He was a football player. He used to be a pro football player. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I just mean, like, oh, I had to explain it to his football player. No, he was a pro football player, and he was like, he didn't really understand how bodybuilding is so different from everything else. And I said, I mean, there's not another sport in this world that you change your entire lifestyle and body, everything. The shape of your body changes, your skills change, your mentality changes, the things you put into your body change, your morals change, your morals change, your focus and drive and food and how you spend your time. Absolutely everything changes. This isn't just you are building a skill set so that you can go into a game and perform the skill set and then look at that skill set objectively and know what to improve upon. This is so many moving pieces and factors, and it's all subjective. It is 100% subjective, and there is not a single objective measure to it in which you're graded upon. And so to walk away from that, of course you're out there going, okay, I mean, what now? It's kind of like I just finished I finished watching the Hunger Games. I watched the Hunger Games because a student of mine was doing a project on the Hunger Games and the hero's journey. And so I was like, I'm going to watch the movie so that I can, because she was doing it over the movie. So I said, I'm going to watch the movie so I can help you through the steps of this. I know, hard. It was a rough assignment. But anyways, actually, I thought that the Hunger Games was kind of like the Twilight series, and I was going to be like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Like instead. And I actually really enjoyed it. I was very pleasantly surprised. And so I got the first book, and I read the book. But when the main character, Katniss, when she leaves the Hunger Games, the first time she's been, I think it's been like a month that they're there, or a couple months, and so she comes back, and it's like a night and day. Like she doesn't know how to act back in the world, back at the Capitol. She, when she's done, she's just like, she still thinks that she's in the Hunger Games. She still thinks she's out there being hunted and needing to survive. And I think when you finish bodybuilding, you're like that.